right, let's start making this ravioli. So first we have to make our dough. So I'm using 3 cups of all-purpose flour, and I'm putting that into a big bowl with a sifter on top, and I'm just gonna sift that flour in there. Sifting the flour makes it super light and fluffy and no clumps. Then we have to add in a little bit of seasoning. So adding turmeric in for color. Ravioli is usually made with egg, so it'll help give that yellow color. And then some salt, a little bit of olive oil, and then some warm water, which you're going to add in very slowly in half-cup increments at first, or like quarter-cup increments. And I'm just gonna mix this together with my fork. It's gonna start to form a shaggy dough, and you're gonna see I'm gonna add in water periodically, and I'm only adding in little tiny bits. We don't wanna add in too much water and make this dough too soft. And I'm mixing around with my fork. Once I kind of get to the point where I feel like my fork isn't doing it, it starts to look like a shaggy dough, like the dough is little tiny pieces and whatnot. I am just going to get in there with my hands, clean hands of course, and I'm adding in a little more water because I can feel that the dough is dry. I could feel that there's too much flour and it's not going to quite come together. So adding in my final bit of water, I think in total I added about half a cup of warm water. That was actually really all it took, maybe a little bit more than that. You have to play around with your dough and see what happens, and then we're just going to start to knead away, and you're going to knead it for about like 4 to 5 minutes. You can also do this all in a stand mixer if you like, and it'll be easier, but I kind of like to do it by hand. I don't know why. So I'm just kneading it until it forms this really nice smooth ball. So something like this, and we're going to chill it in the fridge while we work on our filling. So then we're gonna have some frozen spinach. I'm just gonna put that in the microwave for a few minutes to thaw it out. It's gonna look like this one's all cooked. And then I am just going to squeeze out any water because spinach has a lot of liquid in there and we don't want that inside of our filling. We're gonna have a messy wet filling then, so just squeeze out the water. As you can see, there's a lot. Then we're gonna add in about 3/4 of a block of firm tofu, and this is gonna kind of act as like a cheese substitute in there. You can make this in the blender if you want. I didn't feel like taking my blender out. I'm gonna add in some non-dairy milk, some vegan mozzarella, a little salt, garlic powder, onion powder, just to give it a good nice flavor, and that's it. And then you're just gonna mash this up with the back of your fork, very easy. You don't have to put it in the blender if you want it. Put it in the blender, be my guest, but it's a pain to kind of scrape it out sometimes, so just mash it with the back of your fork. I'm adding in a little more salt because I tasted it and I felt like it needed an extra little bit of salt. So now we can go back to our dough. I'm gonna cut it into 4 even pieces because we are going to need 2 dough balls per 1 set of ravioli. Does that make sense? You'll see in a second. So I'm flouring my surface really, really well. I'm taking 1 dough ball and we're gonna start to roll this out. Now, if you have a pasta machine or a pasta attachment for the KitchenAid mixer or something, you can use that, but you can also do this completely by hand. And it's a little bit time consuming, it's a little bit of an arm workout, but that's how I make my ravioli and it works fine every time. So you're just gonna roll it out really, really thin. You wanna be able to kind of see through it and have it be very thin. You're gonna repeat that with your other dough ball. So now I have these 2 big sheets of pasta. I laid one down. I'm kind of marking out visually where I'm gonna put the scoops of my filling. So I'm putting about a heaping tablespoon of the filling in there, trying to keep it in a really nice circle. And we're gonna make 2 rows of the filling, you'll see in a second. And make sure your surface is floured really well so that way the ravioli do not stick. Then I'm gonna take some water and put it in between all the rows and columns of the ravioli so this top layer of dough sticks on top. So I'm just going to place this right on top now. Well, now, I guess. I was a little slow. I was trying to measure it up. And we're just gonna drape that over. Then I'm gonna use my hands to just press and seal it in, make sure everybody's covered up and looking good. Then I'm gonna take my knife and just cut in between. If you have a ravioli cutter, you could use that here, or a pastry cutter. You could use with a pizza cutter. You could just do it with a knife. It's however fancy you wanna be. So I'm just cutting out each little raviolo. That's how you say one ravioli in Italian, just so you know. So I'm just cutting out each one individually, and then I am going to seal it up with my fork. If you used a ravioli cutter, you don't need to do this step, but I just dip my fork in flour and then just seal the edges so this way none of the filling comes out. And there you go, all done. And I'm gonna put this on a floured dish so they don't stick together. So repeat this with all of your ravioli until they are complete. And then of course you'll have to repeat this with the whole second set of dough. as well. This was only one set of dough. You'll get about 11 from each one. So we're gonna place this into a boiling pot of salted water. These cook very quickly, like 3 to 4 minutes. They're gonna float to the top when they're done. And then you could just take them out with like a slotted spoon, or I used a spatula. Just make sure you get off a lot of that excess liquid. Then we're gonna obviously repeat with the other ravioli until we are all done. In a big pan, I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of olive oil, some sage, some chopped up garlic, 2 cloves, like nice sliced garlic, and then some vegan butter. I'm using the Miyoko's one, and we're just gonna make a super simple like sage butter sauce for this. Nothing too crazy. I think it just complements the ravioli really well. Pop those cooked ravioli in there and just let them soak up the flavor. You can also add a little extra salt if you like. It's up to you how fancy you want to go. I just drizzled a little more olive oil on top and a few extra sage leaves, give it a little shake, and that is it. These beautiful ravioli are all done. I plated it up with some extra sea salt and red pepper flakes on top. These are amazing. They are so fluffy, they are so light, they are incredible. I think they'd be a fun holiday dish to make with family or friends, and they're so impressive. So let's see what the inside looks like. Beautiful, gorgeous, amazing. And these were so good. So I know if you guys make them, you're gonna love them.